there, today I'm going to show you how to style waves. We're going to use some great products in order to break up those curls and give like a funky, edgy texture. First we want to prep the hair. My foundation is just a second day blown out straight look, and if your hair is naturally curly, you're going to want to pre-straighten it and at least have it somewhat smooth. It doesn't have to be like a perfect blowout, but if you have a lot of frizz or coarseness to your hair, that needs to be smooth before you iron it. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting that the whole time. I have already pre-straightened hair, and then I'm going to go through and use a sea salt primer in order to give me a more like rough, beachy texture. Just right over my dry hair. I'm going to mist this in mostly at my roots. And then you just hit it with a blow dryer. And you don't have to use a brush or anything like that. But you do want to make sure that you get it completely dry. You never want to iron over damp hair. See how easy it is for me to create texture at my roots? That's by having that primer in there. I have my wand hot already. We're going to use a wand and just loosely wind the hair around it to create the waves. So first, I'm going to clip up my hair from the level of my ears up. So all of this goes in one twist so that I can keep it out of the way. And then down here, this is going to be my first section. I'm going to just mist it with a setting spray. Like that. And then when I'm winding the waves on the left side, I'm going to use my left hand to do the winding, and then my right hand will hold the iron. It's just easier with, if you think about, this hand is going to be stationary, so obviously it being on that side it's a little bit more awkward, and then this is the arm that's going to wind and hold the curls. And then you always want to wind back for this look. That way, all the different sections, they're going in the same direction, they can clump together, and then that's how you create the waves, and you don't have like stringy curls. And then I leave it on the wand for 10 seconds. That's about how long it takes to set. Everyone's wand will be different based on how hot it gets, but for this one it's about 10 seconds. You just want to make sure that the hair is completely heated, and then when you let go of the curl, that you have like a nice bouncy strong wave in there, because we're going to use a lot of product afterward that's going to break apart that wave. So if it's not set, then you'll kind of break apart the whole style. Okay, so that's what you want the waves to look like when you're finished. And then we're going to do the right side. See how I had split my hair in the back like that? So I pull everything forward, so I'm working in the front for the entire head, and that makes it really easy to do on yourself. Do that spray. So now I'm on the right side, so of course I want to wind with my right arm and just hold the iron with the left. And you always wind down the barrel. So you leave the handle up high, leave it vertical, and wind down the barrel. Okay, so now we have the bottom section complete, and we're going to move to our next section. So I let all the hair drop and part it right at my temples and lift all this back up and reclip it. And then the hair that's down, I'm going to mist that setting spray through again and apply the same technique to this layer. Okay, so now our last section is going to be almost like where you would do a side part, but you're going to do both sides on the top. And we're going to save this because I'm going to show you how to really give that some great direction on the top. So we'll clip that up and wave this. Okay, so now we just have our top section left, and I'm going to show you how to give each section the direction that it needs. So we're going to alternate splitting this. On this section, the right side is a little bit heavier, and then on the next time, the left is going to be a little heavier. So there's always two, but it's going to give it a little bit of like a zigzag effect, so I don't have a definite part, because I want it to have a more random look to it. And then if you wind the curl up right, they call it like on base, when it's right onto the root, there's no drag there, then you'll also be able to get a little bit of lift and volume. If you wanted a lot of lift and volume, then you could use clips and set this, but we don't need that much. So see how the strand is a little bit forward? And then I'm rolling it down right onto the base of the roots. Okay, and then the next section, we're gonna make the left side a little more dominant and the right side a little bit smaller. Let's do those with the setting spray still. And then on the right side, I'm always still winding it back with my right hand. And on the left side, you're still winding back with the left hand. And you're just going to continue that pattern all the way up to the front. Here we have the last section, and based on how long your layer is, this will dictate how much you wind up the hair on the wand. So if your hair is shorter, you're going to wind it less. When you curl hair, you're creating an S shape, and if you cut the curl off at the wrong part of the S, that's when you get a really funky like tweak in the hair. So if it's shorter, you just want it to barely have a C. And then if it's long enough to create the S, then you keep winding it. And no matter what you do, you want it to be a little more relaxed and loose in the front, not really tight. So mine is a little bit on the longer side, so I'm going to still wind it up. But now I'm leaving it off my roots. And that right here, I have about 2 inches of drag, instead of winding it all the way up on the root like I did back here. And then on this side, see, I have that 2 or 3 inches of drag, and then I'm winding the rest down the barrel and only leaving it on for about 5 seconds that time so that it's looser. Now we have all of our waves, and I'm going to show you how to style these and create a cool texture. First, I'm going to use a strong dry wax, and I start with about a pearl size amount, mix that up into my hand, and you want to make sure that you get it completely emulsified and broken down in your hand to where you cannot see the product. If you see the product on your hands, then you're going to be able to see it in your hair. Then I'm going to go in and rub that right on my root, all through the crown and top. This is a little counterintuitive. You'd think, oh, no way, that's going to make my roots greasy and flat. But not if you have the right product. This strong white dry wax is by Dominus, and it's super dry and matte finish. So I'm not going to get any oiliness or any flatness from it. I'm just going in there and creating all that texture. It's almost like back combing in a can. Okay, so I have that in the top now. And then I'm going to use this invisible serum, about that much. Mix that all through my hands, and we're going to do this a few times. Just that amount is enough for one application, then I'll go back and use some more. I go like this with my hands and break up the waves and pull them out. But I don't want it so curly, and I don't want that wave so consistent. I'm going to go through and do this a few times. That same pearl size amount, mix it up in my hands, and then do a section. And I'm continuing to just work the product through and break apart the waves. This shows why it's important to have the waves really set in there, because now when I'm deconstructing them, they're not just completely falling apart and frizzing. If your hair is thinner than mine, you may want to use a brush and brush out some of the wave first to make it fuller, and then put the product in. But I don't want my hair to get too big for this look, so I left the curls conformed, and then I'm putting the product right over them and just breaking it up with my hands. Okay, so now with the product, I've gotten it to this point, and to me it still looks a little bit like bouffant. The key to not having that happen is you can't have too much volume or have it too poofy on the top, for one. And I want to have like some nice width through here. And then I still need to break apart the top so it looks more deconstructed. Based on how much your hair took the curl, because we rolled everything back, if you take a section and then rewind it back, it's gonna bring all that curl right back in, right? That almost looks just like I took it out of the iron. Instead, what I wanna do in order to deconstruct it is take a section and wind it even a little bit the other way and straight, and pull it straight. And then see how that broke that up? Because I don't want the typical like Kim Kardashian boom, boom, boom. I want it to have a different texture. And this is where you just have fun and play around with it, and you can shape the waves where you want them. And I like having some random, you know, straighter sections. I don't want it all so perfect. Anywhere that it feels too set, I'll just go in and make it really, like really pull that section straight. Now that's definitely giving me more of that kind of grungy, worn, cool, edgy texture. And then I'm just gonna finish it off with a medium hold hairspray. So I still want some hold and to be able to maintain this look, but nothing stiff. So if I'm out in the wind or bouncing around, dancing, whatever, my hair is gonna stay, but not look stiff. And no matter what, I mean, I'm always kind of a fan of big hair. I like a lot of hair, but I don't want it to look so set and styled. I like it to have that more comfortable bedhead, rough texture. Okay, so there you have it.